Hello, Capricorn friends. I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my Capricorn August 2024 Astrology Horoscope Forecast. Big month this month, second blue moon in a row. If you haven't watched my July report, then you won't know that there was a blue moon in your sign in July, and now we have another blue moon in August. Crazy. Very rare that that happens. It can only happen because there's more than one definition for what makes a blue moon, and they happen to be coinciding in 2 months in a row. So it's very exciting, but for you, that blue moon, super close to the earth is going to be in your money house. We'll talk about the possible implications of that big event. Plus, we've got eclipse season. Wow. So the eclipses are September 17th, which is the 25 degree of Pisces eclipse. And then we've got October 2nd, the solar eclipse at 10 degrees of Libra. So there is a lot to talk about with these eclipses because we're still moving through a Libra Aries eclipse cycle that started in early 2023 that goes through mid 2025. That's activating your me versus we and your independence and your interdependence and your autonomy and your codependency and whatever else. All that's going to be flaring again. And then we have a new set of players with this Pisces Virgo eclipse cycle that will be in effect from now into 2027. So we'll talk about the themes, the general themes that will start to bring up for you and what things you may specifically see as a Capricorn. And in case you're wondering, as I know some of you may be, why, Annie, if the eclipses are in September and October, are you talking about them in August? And that is because eclipse season starts 4 to 6 and sometimes more weeks before the first eclipse, which means that August is completely covered in eclipse potential. And so these radical changes could be happening and you won't know anything about it if I wait until September to talk about it. So we have to talk about it this month. It's part of the astrological picture. This is a very, very busy month. We've got a ton of aspects, a lot of nuisance aspects, a lot of sweet aspects too. Eclipses, Mercury retrograde, the blue moon, a new moon in Leo. So let's just get going here and take this all piece by piece. This is for you if Capricorn is your sun sign, your moon sign like me, your rising sign, or any other Cap placement that you're listening for. What we're going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. And if you're a very late degree Cap friend, also like me, so birthdays like January 15th through the rest of the sign, or Cap degrees like 23 degrees to the rest of the sign, then I suggest you additionally listen to my Aquarius report because your very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. Okay, so we're going to start with the more mundane, the things that are shorter term, day to day, and then we'll build up to these big life-changing types of storylines, okay? So the first thing to know is that we have a ton of Leo energy. This is Leo time after all. The sun is there, Venus is there, Mercury will retrograde back into there. And this is a time of great vibrance, of great energy, of great self-expression, of romantic possibilities, of children energies, whether you're having a child or whether you're working with children or your own children, or just your creative spirit, or you looking at life through the eyes of a child with that wonder and that excitement. It's a very bubbly, effervescent type of energy. And it brings many different possibilities of fun and excitement and doing things that bring you great pleasure and great enjoyment and hopefully great relaxation. Now for Capricorn, this highlights your house of Scorpio, your 8th house. Now, if you're interested in the visuals, I will drop in a segment at the end. Bear with me for visual friends. I'm putting it at the end so that for those of you who aren't interested in it, I'll tell you when to sign off. But if you are interested, then I'll show you a visual representation on the chart of the things that I talked about. And sometimes I think of things I wanted to tell you that I didn't tell you. So even if you're not interested in the chart, you may want to stay tuned anyway. So in any case, this highlights your water house of Scorpio, which means that the zest also could be the proudness, the ego conflicts of Leo. All of that energy is coming to your deep relationships, your spouse, your family relationships, these ones that can be kind of tempestuous, that, are just the best and the most passionate, but the most annoying and the most stressful. All of that is happening at this time. And because of the retrograde, things are coming back from the past. Okay, the whole month is covered in retrograde. August 4th through August 28th is Mercury retrograde. July 17th leading up to August 4th is the building into Mercury retrograde. August 28th until September 10th or 12th is Mercury building back its center from having been retrograde. But every which way you look at it, August is completely covered in retrograde, which means a few things. I'll get back to what I was talking about with the Leo and the 8th house and all that, but now is a good time to let you know this. When Mercury is retrograde, it just adds confusion to everything. Appliances start breaking down, things start breaking in general, and things that were swept under the rug tend to come back to be worked with. So that's kind of the worst of it. But the best of it is exciting things from the past, fun projects from the past, people from the past, blasts from the past in a great way can come back in, including refreshing energy from the past into your romantic relationships. Okay, so you can have life breathed back into them. You could get back into old things that you did that feel really good, felt good, and now they feel good again. You can have the Leo energies bring new creative ideas to bring zest back into a relationship, even if it's a relationship of, you and your parents. Like if things are becoming ho-hum or boring or, stressful, this is a time where the creative Leo energies can help you to breathe new life and new creative solutions into those relationships. If you need money or a loan or to invest money or information on those type of topics, the Leo energy can also give you a fresh infusion of ideas and possibly even resources to help you with those things. Taxes, inheritances, all of that being brought up very strongly. Now for Cap, Leo energies do make what's called a quincunx angle, and it is as awkward as it sounds. So there is a little awkwardness here. There are things that have to be dealt with. There are things that have been unresolved, unfinished business that have to be resolved. But you can experience great joy from getting them done. And the Virgo energies that will build over the month. So the Sun and Venus will get to Virgo. Mercury, which started the month in Virgo, will retrograde back into Leo. So we've got a little swapping going on. But these Virgo energies are very good for discipline. They're earth energy like you, okay? So practical, getting stuff done, no nonsense, So those energies will be present and will be building as the month progresses. So, you'll have the enthusiasm mixed with the discipline and no nonsense and sort of a nice blending of all of this. If you're having trouble concentrating in the earlier time of the month, you may notice that as the month progresses, you might be able to get down into the nitty-gritty. And you will see this happen too, like that you've spun out for the summer or winter for you all down under, with this fire energy. And now you're kind of coming back to the basics, coming back to the daily grind, coming back to your routine, hopefully more refreshed with new ideas. But nonetheless, as the month develops and you get into September, the routine will be restored. And as it does, strangely for Capricorn, this will start to accentuate your big vision. So it's like, just as you're getting back into your routine, this energy of Sagittarius comes in very strongly because Virgo planets for Capricorn highlight the 9th house of Sagittarius. And Sagittarius energy, which is going to be present, even though there aren't any planets there in the sign of Sagittarius, the Virgo planets specifically for Capricorn will highlight the 9th house. So this is more creative solutions. This is more seeing life from the top of a mountain so that you get a big picture. And sometimes you can find answers there that were harder to find when you were down in it, down in the forest. This can also bring opportunities for education. And this is a very strong theme that I'm going to be bringing up for Cappies: education for your future vocations, education to expand your current vocation. This is an eclipse theme that will be coming up. But there's also another layer of it from these Virgo placements. So you may be going back to school. You may be taking your kids to school. They may be going off to school. Something involving education is happening. Something involving possibly teaching. You as a teacher, you as a student, you as a person learning languages or about different countries or different cultures, you expanding your horizons. So there may be opportunities to expand your horizons, and you may actually find yourself packing to go on a long distance trip. So have your passport ready. If you're watching this early, you may want to get that going because there may be opportunities for you to spin out, and they could come all of a sudden or last minute for you to go see a different country. Or at this time, you may be starting to plan a future international trip. This can also have to do with international business, or like I said, languages, learning languages, anything like that. Now, the other thing to know about Virgo placements for Cap is that they make a 120-degree angle for Capricorns, which is the best angle in all of astrology. So this is actually a really good time of year. You may notice that every year around this time, certain things start to gel, certain things start to click. You have this like nice combination of having your horizons broadened, but then also kind of getting down back to work. And, it's just a beautiful time when things tend to come together, where you tend to be more enthusiastic to return to projects that you had, and you feel kind of refreshed and renewed to go back to the things that you already have to do with expanded horizons to look at things in a whole new way. So, it's a really cool time. I noticed this, I told you I have a Capricorn Venus, I have Capricorn midheaven, I have Capricorn moon. So I noticed this for myself at this time. The Virgo energies tend to really make things come together for us. Okay, so we're building a story here. So when I told you all that Leo energy was happening in the 8th house, one of the things I forgot to mention that I'll tell you now is that on August 4th, we also have a new moon in Leo. Okay, so a time for making wishes along the lines of everything Leo. So wishing for your perfect romantic experiences, for your things for your children, things for your creativity, things for your bucket list in the days around August 4th is really a good way to use that new moon energy. Okay, so now let's make our way around. I'm on the fence whether I want to talk about the full moon and the big money opportunities, or if I want to talk about the eclipses first. They're just going to lead into each other, so it doesn't matter. All right, so let's just go for it. As I talked about before, the first blue moon in a row of two happened when we had the second full moon in Capricorn. So we had a full moon at 1 degree of Capricorn in June, the end of June. Then we had a full moon at the end of Cap, so like 29 degrees of Cap at the end of July. And now we've got a full moon in Aquarius. And this full moon is a seasonal full moon, blue moon. Okay, so there are different definitions of what a blue moon is. A blue moon is either the second full moon in a sign, which is what happened to make that July 21st moon a full moon. It can be the second full moon in a calendar month. That would be a blue moon. Or there's the astronomical definition of the third full moon in a series of 4 full moons between the summer solstice and the fall equinox, which is what this August 19th blue moon is. Also a supermoon. Supermoons significantly amplify how we feel at the full moon time, being mostly water as we are. It will amplify how the moon looks in the sky, making for great photo ops. And it will amplify the possibilities of anything you do at this full moon, plus anything that comes up at this full moon. And it is a once in a blue moon, full moon, right? So you may have opportunities that come up in line with Aquarius and in line with where it's happening for Capricorn, which is your money house of Taurus, your second house. So fullness, completion, fruition, drama, once in a blue moon opportunities can come for your money, your income, your something that you've wanted of financial value, your eco missions, your eco journeys. You're trying to align with the earth, those kind of things. This can also have to do with anything in your life: fullness, completion, fruition, drama, something coming to a head, something being elucidated, information coming out, mysteries being solved. All of that can come out in your in any section of life. But this is really, in your chart, it's highlighting your money sector. Okay, so you can make a bunch of money, you can have money come to you, you can have a big account come to you, you can have money that was owed to you come to you in a big way. You can have a great money making idea that you write down and later on you do something with, and over the course of the moon cycles that you may develop this as well. So blue moons tend to happen every 13 months. Seasonal blue moons tend to happen every 33 months. So we've got a couple of different moon cycles happening here over these couple of months. And you may notice that things that go on may stretch longer into the future because it's longer than a normal moon cycle. You may also see something at play for 27 to 28 days at this time. So that's your big money moon. And it's a super moon, so it's amplified, and it's a blue moon, so it's rare, and you may have unique opportunities or outcomes. If you have to align something to do at this time, since we're in Mercury retrograde, it's not necessarily the best time to launch your biggest thing that you've been working on forever, your life's work, because we're in a temporary short-term type of energy. But it is a great time to run a promotion. it is a fantastic time to do something important that's of a cyclical or a short-term nature. It is a great time to reach back to old contacts if you need a job, if you're trying to drum up business, anything like that. All those types of things where you go back into the past to reach into something you did before, something, a job you had before, an employer you had before, a promo you did before, a way of doing things you did before. All of that can be resurrected at this time in your financial sector. Okay, so now on the topic of, let's see, big changes, let's talk about the eclipse cycles. Okay, so early 2023 through early 2025, we have an Aries Libra eclipse cycle. And we're talking about the eclipses now, right? Because eclipse season starts 4 to 6 weeks before the eclipses. September 17th, the eclipse of 25 degrees of Pisces happens. Then October 2nd, we've got the 10-degree Libra eclipse. And August is right brewing with all of this, okay? So Aries, Libra, me, we. Cappies will be noticing redoing of their relationships over these years, 23 to 2025. Having more autonomy in your life, making more decisions for yourself. As I've talked about many times, sometimes Capricorns get pinned as, selfishly climbing up the ladder of success. I have not seen that to be true in my interactions with thousands of people individually, doing, readings over many years. And being a Capricorn myself, most of the time Capricorns are doing things for other people. And sometimes they just have ungrateful people around them thinking that they're doing this stuff that seems selfish when they're doing it for them. So this is a very common theme for Cappies, where there's a bigger picture, there's a bigger plan. There are people that you're trying to help, and your ambitions, some of them are just for you and your fulfillment. But a lot of times, most of the time, I've seen Capricorns are doing things for other people. So with this Aries Libra eclipse cycle, there may be a new resurgence of starting to do some things for yourself. And that's actually what feels selfish for the Capricorn, right? Where you dare, do something that might be fun for you, or you dare do something that with your resources that might not seem like the best thing for the group or the family or the business or the organization or whatever it is. But you're seeing this slightly, or in a major way, or over time, your perceptions are being changed, where you see that you can't help people if you're not doing well. And you can't do well if you're not living sustainably with how much energy you're putting out versus how you're replenishing yourself. So there's this cycle going on of understanding that to serve people the best, you actually have to show up and take care of your health. You have to take care of the stress levels. You have to get some priorities in order as far as doing, not putting off forever to, things that you want to do for yourself. And this Aries eclipse cycle is along these lines. Okay, so you'll have a chance August, September, October to do something fun for yourself, to do something that feels like indulgence for yourself, and that can turn around to feed you so well that with the extra, now everybody else gets showered with the wonderfulness that comes from you feeding yourself, right? So that's exciting. Now we have a new Pisces Virgo eclipse cycle that's entering the scene to add new layers of what's already going on with the Aries Libra eclipse cycle. So let me dial it back for a second. That Aries Libra eclipse cycle that's focusing on me, we is also for Cappies specifically highlighting home versus work, your inner world versus your outer world, your place out in the world versus your place in your home, mother, father energy, parental energies, literally your home and where you live and your housing, literally your work, your employment. All of that has been accentuated since 2023. It's continuing to happen, and you may see notable things happen along those lines at this time. Now we add in Pisces Virgo, and we're talking about chaos versus order. We're talking about spirituality versus practicality. We're talking about, the quiet, creative abyss versus the mandatory things that have to be done on a daily basis, and how to navigate those more gracefully, seeing to both of those polarities. Specifically for Cappies, this highlights your third house and your ninth house. Okay, so I said earlier, I alluded to the fact that this Sagittarius education energy is going to come in a big way, not just this month. and moving into September when the Virgo energies will be there, highlighting it for the short term. For the long term, from now into 2027, education is coming up for Cappies in a big way. This can manifest in so many different ways. This can manifest with, now you want to be a teacher, in like an official teacher at a school, or an online teacher in a subject that you like, or just advancing into a teacher role in an already established career that you have. All of that can happen. This can have to do with writing, finally writing that book, or writing blogs, or podcasting, or anything having to do with sharing information. But this can also have to do with actually a school program, you enrolling in a school program that will either advance your current circumstance, where you can earn more money and maybe work less and make more, or you can have more fulfillment, or you can reach your goals, or you may be training for a new vocation. And this program, can be multiple years. So you may find something that's opening up now. If you've been thinking about this and I'm saying it, you're like, oh gosh, that's so weird. I was thinking this, but I dare not say anything, because you're worried what your family will think. Like, oh gosh, mom or dad is, 50 and they're going back to school or whatever, Before people are close to 50, they think 50 is old. That is a very weird thing about, I remember thinking, when I was in my 20s, like 50. I remember one time, Bridget, my astrology teacher, the one who made me do astrology, she looked at my chart and she said, oh, these certain things are going to gel for you, when you're like in your, closer to 40 or whatever. And I was like, ew, I'm going to be so old when I'm 40. What's the point, right? That's what people think when they're really young. But of course, you go into your 40s, you get to close to 50, and then you're like, oh, actually, it's not that old, right? So, you may be in your midlife, you may be older, you may be younger, and ready for this resurgence, for this fresh thing, this thing that you loved always, that's coming back to you. Maybe you lived your life for other people before. This is a very strong theme. You've heard me mention it several times. Cappies have very much lived their lives for other people. And this may be a time where you have the resources, where you have the time, where you have the wherewithal, and you realize the need. And maybe your destiny will just give this to you, that it's time for you to do something. And it will very likely involve education. Okay. So, and it could just be different cultures, different languages, moving to a different country, becoming an expat, something with your horizons being broadened. But it definitely has to do with this taking in of information and this putting out of information, either through teaching, learning, expansion in some way. And this is a long-term theme that's starting. Okay, so it's a really big deal. And of course, all of that can feed back into your finances and the other things that we talked about. But yeah, it's pretty exciting. Okay, so last thing to mention is that Mars and Jupiter are highlighting your 6th house. Mars for a year. Jupiter for a year. Mars for a month more. So that can bring, interesting expansion in your work sector, which can also have to do with the education. This is feeding back to the same thing because Gemini rules education. It rules the 3rd house, which is, where this September 17th eclipse is happening. Okay, so I'm about to drop in the visuals. So if you're leaving me and not listening to the visuals, I have to tell you something important. And if you're waiting for the visuals, just give me a second here. Go to AnnieHelpsYou.com. Put your name and email address in, click receive to get my free VIP community access, because in there you can get my August 2024 astrology newsletter, which will give you all of the sweet and salty dates of the month. We have a number of nuisance aspects this month in these awkward angles, which I explain more in the newsletter. And my favorite days of the month for doing important things, the really dicey days of the month. There are more. I gave you a lot of dates today, but there's more to know. Okay, so go to AnnieHelpsYou.com, put your name and email address in there. If the welcome letter doesn't come in your inbox, it's in spam or wherever it is, move it to your inbox, go to the archive link, put in August 2024 astrology, and that will get you there to the newsletter. And then there was just a wellspring of information there. Plus, as the eclipses are coming, I'll have more resources. Basically, VIP community gets content early, just gets a ton of stuff, including astrology lessons. Okay. So goodbye until next month. If you're signing off now because you don't want to see the visuals, I will tell you though, sometimes I remember other things I wanted to tell you when I'm looking at the visuals. So you might be missing out on stuff if you sign off now, but if you are, goodbye for now. Now, if you're not, I'm going to drop the visuals in now. Okay, so here are all of those Leo energies. The sun, actually, Vesta's there. Venus, Mercury will retrograde back into Leo, the new moon on August 4th. All of that's happening in the 8th house of other people's money, inheritances, sweepstakes, finding money on the streets, winning money, capital money, all of it, money, money, money. Also, spiritual resources, psychological resources, not just financial resources, and the deep connections with other people. Synastry, the synergy of merging with other people. Okay, so that's happening. Then Venus and the sun, and then starting from the beginning of the month, Mercury, but that will retrograde back into Leo. We'll get into Virgo and highlight this 9th house. Talks a lot about that. 9th house is the same polarity here, 3rd house, 9th house, where the Pisces, Virgo eclipse cycle is going to be taking place from now through 2027, early 2027. So those big education, expansion, writing, teaching, learning, storylines are being highlighted in the short term by the Virgo energy, highlighted in the long term by the eclipse energy. The other eclipse, the Aries Libra eclipse cycle, me versus we, has been highlighting your home versus work, 4th versus 10th houses. Okay, and then that big money moon, the 27-degree blue moon on August 19th, is happening in your 2nd house of money sector. 2nd and 8th houses are our money houses, and the 2nd house is earned income. So also has to do with big material purchases or items, can have to do with your ecological imprint, so your relationship with the earth and those kind of things as well. We also talked about how Mars for the short term, the month of August still, and Jupiter from now until June 2025 is accentuating your house of health. So hopefully that will bring Cappies who have been having health issues better health. Stress management, this can also expand your business and your work and your income as well. And can also make you super ready to get your space in order or have variety in your daily experience. So you might be getting your fingers in a lot of pudding pies, especially for the next month, which echoes out for the next year, or more than that, actually, until June of 2025. The Virgo energies that I talked about will make trines for all of your Cappie placements. A trine is the most favorable aspect in all of astrology. So all of that Virgo energy is kissing your Cap placement and bringing all these wonderful potentials for things to gel and come together for you nicely. Okay, I gave you a lot of dates. If you want more, go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address in, click receive, go to the archive link in the welcome letter, put in August 2024 astrology, and get my sweet and salty list, the nuisance aspects and all those dates and the other things to know, and some more information about the blue moon. While you're there, if you scroll down, you can see up level. I have a double blue moon promo where when you register for my Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Certification Course, you get all of the courses in my school for free. Crazy double blue moon promo going till the end of August. I think we're on August 28th. You can see the details there. You can go to anniehelpsyou.com, then go down to up level and click there, or you can go straight to www.beastropro.com. And that will get you to this course and the epic double blue moon promo. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.